welcome back to the podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sullivan.
I'm Mary Grace.
And today we're going to talk about complete antigen insensitivity syndrome.
Complete antigen insensitivity syndrome is the syndrome where you're born biologically male, but your body does not react to testosterone, so it turns into estrogen.
This syndrome affects the X chromosome, which is X-linked recessive trait. It comes from your mother, but your mother's not affected, but when you receive her X chromosome, then that means you get the syndrome.
Sometimes these people need a clitorectomy, which is where they remove the clitoris.
2 per 100,000 people are affected by this in the world. That's a very small percentage, and it's a very rare disease. People affected with this syndrome are born with a vulva on the outside, no female gonads, but they do have testes in their stomach. Oftentimes, when they're born, a couple months or weeks later, they'll develop a hernia, and that's how they find the disease, when they go to operate on the hernia and the testes are found inside their stomach.
Also, something interesting about these people is they don't have any natural body odor, and they actually don't grow any hair on their body besides their head.
Relations. These
people are not able to have sexual relations, or they do not have periods.
This is due because their vulva doesn't have anywhere to go inside, so it just stops a couple inches in to the body because they don't have any female gonad parts or uterus or anything like that, so that's why they can't get periods or anything like that.
This is also why they get a clitorectomy, because part of the penis grows where the clitoris should be, so they have to remove it. Now we're going to be talking about Emily Quinn. She is a complete androgen insensitivity syndrome human. She, like others, is not able to have kids, does not have her period, has no body hair, and basically has testicles inside of her.
And she does a lot of inspirational talks. She's done a couple TED Talks. She has an entire YouTube channel talking about like her experience with being intersex and how it's hard for her, how she's gone through a lot of things, and specifically how doctors will force intersex people to have surgeries they don't need to do just because they don't understand how their body works. She's inspired lots of people. She's also developed a cartoon character on a show that's intersex to help other people who are intersex who don't really understand what they're going through. So the genotype with people with this syndrome is XY. They're biologically male, but they have a female phenotype, which means they have female parts on the outside.
They're just non-working.
Most people with this syndrome after puberty or during puberty start with estrogen replacement therapy. It helps them look more like a girl and develop breasts and wider hips just like a girl would have, so they feel more like a girl.
Okay, this is our guest Lily Sullivan. We're going to be talking to her about the syndrome.
The syndrome's name is complete antigen insensitivity syndrome. It affects 2 to 100,000 people. It's really rare, and a lot of people have never heard of it.
So you have no working female parts, no period, you cannot partake in intercourse. These people are given the option of a clitorectomy to remove the clitoris, because if they do not, the penis can grow where the clitoris is.
People born with this don't have any body hair, they don't sweat, they don't have any body odor. This is someone with complete antigen insensitivity syndrome.
It was really hard growing up, not knowing what was wrong with me, and that I have testicles inside of me. My sex life was really hard, and it was really hard growing up thinking I was a woman and not having my period.
We're here interviewing people if they've heard about the syndrome. Have you heard of complete antigen insensitivity syndrome? Okay, next.
Go.
Have you heard of complete antigen insensitivity syndrome? Have you heard of complete antigen insensitivity syndrome? No.
Go.
Have you heard of complete antigen insensitivity syndrome? Have you heard of complete antigen insensitivity syndrome? No. Have you heard of complete antigen insensitivity syndrome?
No. As you can see, it's very rare.
And a lot of people really haven't heard about it. Thanks for watching the podcast.